I got that autism brain with an ADHD spin, a touch of OCD and a dash of complex PTSD. Some days are all rain and others a jackpot win, so I'm out here representing neurodiversity. I'm making myself laugh. This is the Innominate AuDHD with a game review, because why not? I play a ton of games, I might as well see what I can make of it. I give you my perspective on whatever games catch my interest, which can be anywhere from a half-assed review because I lost interest, to an obsessive deep dive with more notes than you can possibly need. You have been warned.
Welcome, comrades. Today I am reviewing Breathedge, which has many Russian themes and creation team. Hence, terrible stereotypical Russian accent for review. To be clear, accent is for entertainment purposes only and is in no way meant to represent Russian population. I had dreams of being a voice actor as a child and I'm just having fun. Maybe get job offer. Please note, I played the game before starting reviews or streaming experience, so we do not have any actual gameplay footage, just recordings of wandering around at last save point for demonstration purposes. Now, Breathedge is shipwreck survival game, but in space where no one can hear you paka. This is funny joke because of a mortal chicken in game. The game started out strong with weird robot mob and dark crazy humor I instantly love. However, I did not finish game because of how long it takes to make progress. It is like when you meet fun and beautiful woman in bar. Everything is going great, you start feeling things you not feel in a long time. You get caught up in a moment, and you go to bedroom, and she's starfish, expecting you to do all work. Huge mood killer. But in that scenario, you still finish. Unless she whip a penis. But even then, maybe you still finish. Breathedge is primarily sandbox survival game, but seems to have decent story. There is option in main menu for free play mode where you can focus on building space station base. From my playthrough, it seemed like it was possible to also build station in mid-game, but I was unable to figure it out. Premise of story is, your grandfather has died and you are paying him final respects. He loved to travel in space, so you are putting him to rest somewhere in space. It is a little unclear. For some reason, you are traveling on your personal ship inside a massive freighter ship. As I mentioned, I did not finish game, so I do not know if good explanation was ever given for why. There is cataclysmic event where freighter is just torn to shreds and your personal ship is rendered inoperable. Your goal in story mode at the beginning of game is to reach evacuation point. You have 4 needs in game: health, eat, drink, and the big one, breath. It is entitled after all. Health is recovered by sleeping, and while there are some things in game that can hurt you, like radiation poisoning, it only really goes down when one of the other needs is depleted. Eat and drink, as simplistically as they are named, are not a huge concern. It is easy to find food and drink, or the resources to make them. They should not be hoarded as inventory is limited. The player's main concern is breath. They start the game with about 45 seconds worth of air in their spacesuit before they need to return to a place with an atmospheric environment. You can craft components to increase breath capacity or refill it mid-spacewalk. Sounds okay, yes? No. It eventually becomes tedious to manage. I only got through half of Chapter 2. Chapter 1 was not so bad, but most of what you needed to do was near your starting spacecraft. In order to progress to Chapter 2, you did need to build oxygen stations to use as relay points to reach the new area, which was about 1.5 kilometers away. For our American viewers, in miles that I have no idea. The rest of the world uses the metric system, just convert already. Now, once you get to the new area, this part of the story was about dealing with radiation at another area you needed to get to. There were another 5 or more areas you needed to visit to complete objectives to assist with this. And these areas were about another 1.5 kilometers or more away from your new main base. It was at this point my character's needs became too annoying to manage, and I used Cheat Engine to make them infinite. For those of you who might want to do the same thing, your character's needs are floating variables, not integers. Be welcome, I just saved you a half-hour headache. Now that my character's needs were no longer concerned, I realized just how long space travel in the game was. You move at about 6 meters a second without any boost devices, and the best boost device I was able to create increased that to 13 meters a second, just a little more than double, which I did not do until just before giving up. When you are traveling at 6 meters a second, that's 360 meters a minute, which means it takes at least 4 minutes of boring, empty space travel to get from your new main base in Chapter 2 to any of the important areas in that chapter. So, before I got a booster pack, I decided to go to each area, one after the other, to save time. There is nothing you can do immediately when you get to each area. You have to scan something to get recipes to build something at your base and bring back. I visited 4 areas and only completed 2. There was military module which you could not access until you made your own military spacesuit. The area also had police robots that would beat you to death even if you were wearing a military spacesuit. Once you got access to module, it turns out the goal of area was just a recipe for another spacesuit, a built one with higher radiation resistance. It made the mission feel redundant. The second area I completed was the bio module, where you could find cans of beef to make explosives. I don't get it, don't ask me. You then needed to craft some of these explosives to get into the module, so here was at least one more back and forth travel, as it was possible to not pick up all of the resources needed to make all of the explosives necessary. Once inside, you'll get some weird gel to reduce radiation. I also went to the Knight Errant, some sort of security ship that ended up blasting a bunch of stuff nearby with a huge laser, cutting asteroids in half. I did not get much done in this area, but I'd be willing to guess this is what destroyed the freighter. The last area I went to, and this is the part of the game that made me say enough is enough, was the Mayo ship. The premise of the area is it was a Mayo transport ship that would somehow help with reducing radiation at the place you needed to go if you shoot a giant glob there. Again, I don't get it. Anyway, I made multiple trips in and out of the area because things were unclear. First, I needed to detach the component I was going to fire from the main transport ship. I needed a tool to disconnect most of the brackets, but there was one that was damaged and needed to be fully destroyed. I made a trip to the base to get the tools I thought I needed, only to find out on my return that the bracket that needed to be fully destroyed only accepted grenade or blaster fire, both of which I had not found at that point. Not the same explosive used on the bioship. What the hell? So, I made another trip for a grenade and blew it up. Then I find out there is a rocket on the component that I also needed to repair. So, another trip to the base. Then, I take forever to find entrance into component, even though it is obvious you need to go through mail. It is easy to get turned around in there and not find what you are looking for, leading to self-doubt about abilities to do basic things in game. Finally, when I got inside the component I needed to launch, I found I need to go back to base to make at least one more thing. At that point I am done. It is too many long back and forth empty trips, and there were at least 2 more areas that needed to be done before chapter 3. And I was cheating to not have to deal with characters' needs. I can only imagine how annoying these areas would have been if I had to manage system of oxygen stations as well. Breathedge is a game that started out really strong, very funny, interesting concept, but wears down players' patience eventually. This game I really wanted to love, but just expects you to do too much work and doesn't really give back. Maybe that's your thing, but not mine.
That's it for now. If you enjoyed this review, please like and follow to motivate me to make more content. Check out my channel to see where I live stream gameplay if that's your thing, but don't expect a schedule because my neurotype doesn't like them. Thanks for watching, enjoy your day, and remember, we're all nameless to someone.